pastor's wife. I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm glad you hung out with me a little bit this morning as I got some things done. And so now it's time for me to kind of think about maybe supper or maybe breakfast tomorrow. I just know that I am craving a breakfast meal, whether it be for supper tonight or maybe tomorrow morning for breakfast. And one thing I'm wanting, normally I make sausage gravy, but I love, and that's because my kids love sausage gravy, my husband loves sausage gravy, but I am craving bacon gravy, and I have not had that in such a long time. Well, one of the things that I want with bacon gravy is applesauce. And I don't like canned applesauce or jarred applesauce or bought applesauce. I like to make my own. I've done this video several times, and I'm going to do it again because it's so good. And I don't get my applesauce to a pureed, like where it's really smooth. I like some texture in mine, and I put a neat little surprise in my applesauce that, Anyway, Judah's going to love it. Levi's going to love it. Everybody loves my applesauce. And so we're going to get started. I've got here, I've got 4 big Granny Smith apples. And I've got 3 smaller ones. I have more. I'm going to slice these up. I'm going to peel them and chunk them up into my pot. And if I need to go grab a few more, I will. But we're going to see where we are with these 4 big ones and 3 little ones. I'm going to spare you the process of me peeling the apples. A lot of people don't understand why I peel the apples the way I peel them. And it's because my hands cramp. And I have an apple peeler slicer, and that's wonderful for when I'm dehydrating the apples. But I like mine kind of in bigger pieces for as I make it applesauce, so I just peel them by hand. So I'll spare you the details on me peeling the apples. You just peel them however you see fit and you want to peel them, okay? Because we all have different issues. Somebody may have arm issues. Somebody may have hand issues. Somebody may have no issues. Somebody may not have a good knife or whatever. So you just do it the best way you can. And then we'll pick up when it comes to making the applesauce. Okay, so let me tell you about how many apples I ended up using. One of my large apples was kind of, so only used 3 large ones, but then ended up using about 7 of the small ones. Even the small ones were kind of, So this is a great way to use up those apples you've placed in your fruit bowl and you've kind of let them sit there a little too long. It's a great way to use fresh apples too. But if you have some that are, now the one big one was a little too far gone. It was just, I didn't use it at all. But even the small ones has started kind of getting rubbery on the outside. Not really wrinkly, but you could just tell they were starting to change. And so this is a great way to use those apples up. Now, I have just a normal stock pot right here. Not stock pot, like a sauce pot pan. I'm not sure what size this is, but you can see my hand there, and, you know, it's my fingertip to my mid-arm, I guess, wide. But I have it 3/4 or 2/3 of the way full of apples. And down in the bottom, I only put less than an inch or less of water. If we have a little excess water, we can fix that. And I'm going to show you how to fix it if we have it. But then the rest is apple. So it takes very little water. I mean, just a little bit. So let me grab my sugar and cinnamon, and I'll show you what we do next. Okay, so here's my apples, and it's okay if they start turning a little brown. That is fine. Now, the amount of sugar you're going to use is going to depend on your type of apples. These are Granny Smith, so they're just naturally a little tartar. I'm going to start with 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And I may not fill those 4s up quite full. So 3/4 of a cup of sugar. To that, I'm going to do several good heaping, not heaping because I can't heap it. I'm just going to use the sprinkle side. But several good dashes of cinnamon. Now, if you don't like cinnamon in your applesauce, by all means, leave it out. All right. So, I'm going to give this a good stir. I'm going to turn my burner on like a medium. I just want to bring it to a good, a little bit of a boil. Once I get it to starts bubbling a little bit, we'll turn that down. Look, it's already making its own juice. Like, I only put, less than an inch. Almost, let's just say an inch in the bottom. And it has already begun to make its own juices just by the apples sitting in that water. So it's going to start bubbling. When it bubbles, I'm going to turn it way down and put the lid on it. And then we're going to come back and we're going to see how soft they are. I'll time it, let you know how long. We'll come back and see how soft they are. And then we'll cook it a while with the lid off, letting the liquid evaporate out. We put the lid on only to get them soft quickly. We'll take the lid off to let that water evaporate. And if enough water doesn't evaporate, I'm going to show you what to do with it. But we'll do that in a little bit. So let's bring it to a little bubble and then we'll put the lid on. Okay, y'all, they are good and done. And I'm going to take the lid off to let some of that liquid cook out. And the best thing to mash it with is a potato masher. I have another one that's kind of a spring-loaded and it's a dual one, but we're going to use this one today. And I just come in and I mash my apples because I like a little texture in mine. I like a few apple chunks. And I'm going to show you my secret ingredient in just a little bit, but we're going to let some of this water cook out a little bit. Can y'all see how soft that's getting? I did turn my burner off, but I'm going to turn it back on. I didn't mean to turn it off. All right, so there we go. That's about as mushed up as I want it because I like chunks in mine. So I'm just going to let this cook down, let the liquid cook out just a little bit, and then we're going to come in and put our secret special ingredient in.
Is mushed up a word?
Mushed up? I think mushed up is a word. Is mushed up a word? I just made it a word.
Pureed.
It's not pureed. If it was pureed, it would be thin and smooth. I don't want it thin and smooth. So pureed is not the right word, but mushed up goes better. Okay, y'all, here is my secret ingredient, crushed pineapple. Now, there's a little bit too much liquid left in my pot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little pan here and I'm going to drain some of this pineapple juice, if I can get the lid off. And I'm going to drain some of that pineapple juice. Actually, I'm going to drain it all in here. We're going to use that juice in just a little bit. And that sounds crazy, I know. I'm going to put more juice into something I'm wanting to get juice out of. But you'll see, it'll work. I'm making a mess on my stove, but that's okay. Alright, so now you can use as much or as little of this as you want. And I just I'm actually going to use it all. I'm going in with the whole thing. Alright, now let me show you to that liquid. I'm going to reach in here and get like a tablespoonful of cornstarch. Maybe just a tad more. And I'm going to stir that in that pineapple juice. And we're making what you call a slurry. I'm going to turn my oven back on. And I'm actually going to just get just a tad bit more. I just want to be sure I have enough. I mean, it's still probably around a tablespoon. My spoon was wet, so I kind of just dipped it in and got a little extra. Alright, so we're going in here with that slurry. And we'll stir everything up. Throw the pineapple away. We're going to stir everything up. Let it come just up to a bubble. And that's going to kind of thicken it up and help that liquid become more of a thick applesauce. And it doesn't change the taste. And sometimes you don't need the slurry because your liquid cooks out. And sometimes you do need the slurry. So I needed a little bit today. But that pineapple, let me just tell you, especially if you're leaving your applesauce a little chunky and you add in that pineapple, oh my goodness, y'all, this is the most delicious applesauce in the whole entire world. It is that delicious. So I think Bryant has decided that we are doing breakfast for supper tonight. So I've got to get this finished and get it cool because I like my applesauce cold. So see how it's just thickened up and that liquid is like gone already, and it's only been on the heat for just a minute, not even a minute probably. So I'm actually just going to cut that heat off. I'm going to let it cool down, and then I'm going to put it in some containers and get it in the oven. I'm in the oven. Ah! It doesn't cool in the oven, Leslie. It would be called a refrigerator that it cools in. So I'm actually going to set it off of the heat as well. Set it over here on my granite slab. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our delicious applesauce, surprise applesauce. That's what we'll call it because nobody's expecting that pineapple. It is so good. Y'all have got to try that. So, I probably won't film the breakfast. So, let me just get a spoon real quick and give this a taste for you guys. I've got several other things coming. I'll probably film tonight's breakfast as well because I'm going to make the Whippoorwill Hollers French toast. I have a French baguette, and I probably need a different bread, but I'm going to use it anyway. And so I'm going to make that, I think. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to film tonight's breakfast for you guys. If not, it's okay. You've seen me do breakfast a million times. So let me grab a spoon and I'll give this a taste. Okay, so y'all know it's hot. There it is. Oops, it's not focusing. There we go. Why is it not focusing? Ah! I was getting the bottom before it dripped. Oh my goodness, it's already good. Oh, applesauce. I never ate applesauce until I started making it like this. Now you just think about that with a piece of salty bacon or salty country ham and a gravy biscuit. Oh, so good. I cannot wait for supper tonight. And it's probably going to be a little later supper because Bryant's doing a wedding. And it's going to be the rehearsal tonight. And so he'll probably be later coming home. So I'll have plenty of time to get breakfast on the table. But the applesauce is done. And now it just needs to cool. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in my kitchen. Thank you for being here in my blue kitchen right now. As you can see, my cabinets. In a few weeks, things are going to be changing around here. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, so it maybe a month and a half before everything's done or whatever. I mean, gets started good, but anyway, things are changing. But thank you for joining me here in my kitchen as we made surprise applesauce. And I just appreciate you guys so much. Please hit subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Give me a thumbs up and please leave me a comment. Let me know when you're planning on trying this, what things you like applesauce with. If you like applesauce, what do you eat applesauce with? But y'all, you've got to try it. You've got to try it with like a bacon gravy, biscuits. Oh. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. So remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.